Megan, tell me, first off, it's got to be the coolest thing there to be coaching kids rock climbing. I mean, that is just so exciting. Climbing will be an Olympic sport here coming up, by the way. Tell us about Team Rock Winner. That is a phrase and a term used with your group. If you can explain it and its meaning to everyone.
Yeah, definitely. So at the start of every season, we have a tryout for all the kids who are already on the team and anyone else who wants to come out. And we sit them down, and we have quite the reputation as a team of doing well, of winning, having a lot of kids on national team. And so we have all these new kids come in, and we sit down and we tell them right away that what we're looking for on Team Rock is for winners. And I pause for a moment, and they get a little bit scared because a lot of these kids have never really competed in climbing. And so that's pretty intimidating. And then we immediately let them know what winning on Team Rock is really all about. And it comes from the PCA originally, from Elm. And for us, being a winner on team is all about starting off with effort and coming in with all the effort that you can on that given day. And we recognize that other things go on in their lives, but when they show up with everything that they have. And if that means in the workout or in supporting their teammates, that's the effort we're looking for. So that's first, and then the next part of it is that everything they're doing is they're learning. So you saw in the video, they're falling all over the place, and when they're not falling, it's not working. So every chance that they get on the wall and they fall, there's something for us to talk about, and to have that desire, that constant desire to learn, is a winner on Team Rock. And then finally is just the willingness to make mistakes, and how they manage that. So if they can bring that together, it doesn't really matter to us that they win anything, because they already won. They're already going to participate and contribute to being a great team member. So that's a winner for our team.
That's excellent. Thank you for sharing that. Omar, in the soccer world, in any sports world, honor the game is a term that gets used quite often. But then you want to spread it out so that the positive influence of coaching is not just result-driven, but also with the coaches. It's not just the players. If you just talk a little bit about what that means to you.
Well, I think it's important to understand that we're all dealing with different athletes, different types of people. I'm in an area where not everybody is fortunate enough to be able to afford the sports and the sporting exercises that most of us, our kids have access to. So I think it's important that our coaches and our players understand that, are educated on the fact that these things that they're learning through sport, whether they realize it right in the moment or not, respecting officials, teammates, themselves, really, they're hearing a lot of voices that they may not be hearing at home or at school in a positive manner. And I just think that teaching them those lessons through the sporting activities that we provide, really will help them long term be better students, be better citizens, be better workers, family members.
It says a lot. Yeah. It really does. And I get the sense from you just talking about that, how it's emotional for you because of the impact it makes and the people who you see that are in such a positive way impacted, and not just your players, but the other coaches that you're coaching along this way as well.
Certainly, because we are not able to, we're not bringing in money from, or a revenue stream from the families. We're relying on a very heavy volunteer base. So really modeling for them behaviors that PCA embodies and that we personally have would like to see and would like how we would like to be coached and how we feel players and people will grow. It's very important for them to be on the field as we're teaching the players, we're teaching our coaches on how we would want them to behave, what's right, what's wrong. And at the end of the day, those coaches have to get on the field and actually do the coaching and gain that experience in order to be able to better apply it. So there's a little bit of give and take with jump in, get your feet wet, but at the same time, here's how we try to do things and working in that fashion.
That's awesome. Thank you, Omar, for sharing that. All right, Whitney, talk to me about mountain biking in Utah and coaching. Coaching that's it's such an exciting endeavor, and you have to have people who are thrilled just by the surroundings of what you're doing every day. But then there's still an emotional challenge to it, and you talk about filling emotional tanks of the people, the coach, the players, I should say, the athletes that you're working with. If you could share some of that realm of coaching in your life and your approach to your mountain bike team there in Utah.
Sure. Well, we are governed by an organization called the National Interscholastic Cycling Association, and their core values really drive a lot of that, starting with one of those, which is inclusivity. And inclusivity means we'll take anybody on our team that is willing to do what we ask them to do, basically play by our rules. There's no tryout, nobody gets cut, nobody's benched, everyone can race. So we start with like that inclusive feel, but then, I don't know about you guys, but being a teenager right now is really hard. And you see these kids, I have 200 riders on my team, and each one of them is there for a different reason. And part of my job is to connect with those kids and understand why they're there, so that I can make their experience the best. We'll have an elite level rider, and we'll have a kid who just barely threw his leg over a bike when they met us. And we're gonna make sure that every single one of them finishes a race. And I surround myself with like-minded individuals who want to protect that culture and protect that for the kids, so they have a safe place to come and get that emotional tank filled.
It's awesome that you're so cognizant of that and the wide range of emotions that you have with your team. It's one of the reasons you're up here, I'm sure. Congratulations, and thank you for sharing that. It's awesome. All right, George, let's talk track, cross country, because there are lonely moments on runs. So it tests resilience of the youth of a unique age. How do you take a race day approach with some of these kids? Because they have to find, instill, and build some resilience, sometimes when they have nothing to call on in terms of experience for their resilience. How have you managed to work that in your coaching?
Well, for me, I definitely instill a team-first nurturing culture with the kids, and after that's done, usually the work is actually done before the meets. Obviously, the kids go through a lot of hard workouts, and they go through it together. Doesn't matter whether you're elite athlete, who's going to run a D1 program, all the way to kids who are just there to get PE credits. And actually, at the end of the day, they kind of come. The kids that just want to get a PE credit, they come back and it's like, oh, I actually really enjoyed the sport and really got a lot out of it. And obviously, for track and cross country is a pretty objective sport, and it's like you could measure their improvements and so forth. So again, I usually instill, especially on my captains, to really care about not only their varsity runners, but also the JV as well, and all the kids are just pretty much like a family, and we obviously have a lot of fun. And I actually got pretty emotional watching the video, and it's like, I thought my interview was actually not so good, but the kids did a great job. But again, it's like instilling this family environment in order for the kids to succeed together is very key.
That's great.
Thank you.
Your interview was great. George, always remember, if you don't think the interview's good, blame the media. It's kind of the way our country's working these days, so we'll stop there. All right, speed round. We'll see how coachable you coaches are, okay? If you can give me a sentence on these couple of questions, okay? And if you don't take the coaching, blame me. Megan, I'm going to start with you. We'll just come right down the line here, okay? Let's go with this one. What are some of the things you do with your teams to teach them how to bounce back from a mistake? What's important to teach your team of how to bounce back from a mistake? Megan, I'll let you go first.
You support one another. So when someone makes a mistake, you support them, and it's going to come right back to you when you make a mistake.
For me,
it's a speed round. Don't applaud them. No, I'm joking. Go ahead.
for me is again, a team-first environment, a very nurturing environment, and again, pretty much the kids really support each other, and they really care about each other. Yeah.
If you're on a mountain bike, if you make a mistake, usually it results in a crash. And I usually tell the kids when they crash, I once had a friend say, Whitney, sometimes you have to crash to learn that you can get back up. And I repeat that sentence over and over and over again throughout the season. So.
Cool. I think quick comments right off the bat, right? And with coaching the players as well, that they can also chime in when there's a mistake with another player. Quick positivity, quick clap, head up, it's a game, it's a mistake. Live with it, bounce back, right? So essentially trying not to focus on that mistake and just jumping right back into the next play.
I like it. That's great. Megan, I'm going to start with you.
Yeah.
Advice for parents and families out there, because as coaches, you all deal with the parent who knows that their kid is this close to being this great.
Yeah. Parents to nurture these life lessons and to spend your time nurturing that, because society is going to make sure your kids know that they want to win. So there's already enough of that pressure. So the more time and energy you can spend just supporting the other part will help your kids, it will help that connection, it will help the coaches and nurture that culture.
I can't follow that. That's a great answer. For me, I actually just, again, obviously parents really care about their kids, and as coaches, we all know that. And I just feel like if there's a parent that really, really cares about their kid, and to the point it's like, oh, more playing time or whatnot, and, it's like, try to channel that caring and energy into something else. Like, it's like have the parent be a team parent, it's like helping you out, or it's like bring snacks and so forth. It's great. Yeah.
Oh, that's great. Feed the coaches.
That's awesome.
You're a good interview. You really are.
I'm sorry, what was the question?
Advice for parents.
Right. I think one of the things that I frequently run up against is parents modeling kind of negative behaviors when their kids come up in adverse situations. And I find myself trying to talk them off the ledge. Like, your children are watching you. And, model what you want to see, be the change you want in the world. And so, your son lost the state championship race by 0.01 seconds. And let's hold our head high and handle it with a classy, attitude, and be gracious in victory and defeat. And I think that that's one of the main things I try to teach my parents.
All right, you're last. Go get them.
I don't know if advice would be the right word, but I really think educating families as to who you are as an organization and how you coach and what your core beliefs are and your mission, and really over time having people believe in that, I think it kind of starts to create a culture within your organization, and that feeds into itself and the people that are coming in and seeking you out long term. So I just think having people understand who you are and hopefully buying into who you are, and if not, it may not be the right fit.
Well, we mentioned there are so many award winners, and the selection process certainly was not easy, and there are many represented in the room, but it's hard to find four better in a cross-section of sports, areas of the country, perspectives, yet with the common goal of being positive about this. How about a great hand and a thank you? Megan, Omar, Whitney, and George. Thank you.
Thank you very much.
We'll do a photo real quick.
Yeah, of course.